Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 93 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on recognizing God's hand in my life. So, yay for day 93. So today was not the best day for me. I did not make very good choices today. So I'm having a hard time recognizing God's hand in my life. And I realize it's more because I just wasn't paying attention to what God was doing in my life than it was because God wasn't in my life. And I do know that He helped me get out of bed to my alarm because I knew I had to open at work today and I could not sleep in. And in fact, I think I got up a few minutes before my alarm and I still just stayed up. And I managed to have the time to read my scriptures and meditationals before work. And I was worried about being late, but I was still got there on time, a couple minutes early, so it was okay. And somebody else had already turned off the alarm when I got there, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, that's fine. And I did my job, but I woke up with a bit of a headache, so kind of just fighting a migraine, and I'm sure it had something to do with the crazy overcast weather outside, which I really hate when that happens, and I have no control over that. And then I decided to double my ADHD medication for the day because I thought, hey, this is going to help me focus, and I need to be super productive in spite of the fact that I have a headache. But I'm not nauseous at this point, so as long as I don't end up nauseous, it'll be fine. And then I came home and thought I just need to lay down and take a nap because I just don't feel good. And if I can take a nap, I will wake up and I will feel better. But then I didn't let myself take a nap. I just played games on my phone. And of course, I didn't do anything else because the ADHD medication only lets me focus on one thing at a time, which is nice. And had I turned everything off and gone to bed, it would have been okay. But I did not. I just laid on my couch and watched TV, and I just couldn't seem to get myself to turn it off. And I was like, stupid medication's not working. And I was relying on the medication, and I was relying on myself, and I wasn't relying on God for the day, and I wasn't allowing God to be a part of my afternoon or my evening, and I was just letting all of the negative thoughts flow in my brain because I just wasn't feeling good. And I wasn't doing anything to take care of myself. And then I was trying to make myself stay awake because I knew I had to go clean the temple. And then by the time it came around to let's clean the temple, I was like, I'm so tired and I feel 10 times worse than I did when I got home from work because I haven't slept and I don't feel good. And I just didn't end up going. And all I could see was all the things that I didn't do. And then I went to bed and I fell asleep without saying my prayers. And I was like, I'm a horrible person. Horrible person. But I'm so grateful that God was there to help me get out of bed and to go to work. And I know that I focused at work and I was able to get stuff done and I wasn't stressing about what I could or couldn't do. And when I was done for the day, I was just done for the day. And I am grateful for that too. And I'm also grateful to know that God is just forgiving and that I know I still have days where I don't always pay attention to God in my life and where I just let myself think that I can do whatever I need to do without God's help. And it just doesn't work as well without God in my life. And so, and I not that God was not there, but I know there's that concept where it's like God's always there, but I'm not always aware. And I don't always pay attention to what God is telling me to do, or I don't even listen to my body when it's telling me I just need to go to sleep. And my brain's like, no, I have to do this. No. But then I don't feel good, and then I just don't do stuff. And it's not the best choice for me. But I just wanted to share that anyway, that I know I don't always have perfect days. I don't always have days where I recognize God in my life. I don't always have days where I'm full of gratitude and where I'm happy and life is wonderful and blissful as much as I want it to be that way. I want to pretend every single day, and it doesn't work that way. But I know that God is loving and forgiving, and I know that it will be okay because I know it's been 2 days since this happened and I'm just kind of making a video a couple of days later, and I know what's happened since then, and I know that God's been there and helped me, and I know that I woke up in the middle of the night, Friday night, had to get up and go to the bathroom or something and realized, or just woke up and realized I hadn't said my prayers, and I said a little prayer in the middle of the night in the middle of my sleep, and then I went right back to sleep and it was okay. And I know that God's okay with that because God loves me and He's aware of me and my struggles, and He's infinitely forgiving of me and has infinite patience, which I'm extremely grateful for because I don't always have patience with myself and with the mistakes that I continue to make. Same simple little mistakes over and over again. Reminds me of a scripture in the Book of Mormon and Nephi saying he's just frustrated with the sins that so easily beset him. And I'm like, yeah, just the little things that just, it's not that hard, but it's hard. It is that hard. And I think I have this idea that it's not supposed to be that hard and that it's not that hard to just do things. And I've heard other people tell me that it's not that hard. And I'm like, okay, but for me, it is that hard. It is that hard to not get sucked into my phone and games, or to just, it is that hard for me to just turn the TV off. I just get zoned in and I can't turn things off. It is that hard for me to get up and to do things, especially when I don't feel good and I'm tired. It is that hard. And I forget that it's that hard. And I listen to that voice in my head that says it's not that hard, or it should not be that hard. But it's always been hard for me. And even if it's not hard for other people, that's fantastic. I'm extremely jealous. It's not hard for you. But it's hard for me to take care of myself. It's hard for me to let myself go to sleep. Sometimes it's hard for me to just sleep, which is super frustrating when I'm super tired. And sometimes, I don't make the best choices. Sometimes it's just hard for me to be like, okay, to give myself permission. It's okay to sleep instead of to not be productive. And sometimes when I just don't feel good and I'm tired, it's hard for me to convince myself that I have to be productive. And then I have this conflict going. I'm like, I can't go to sleep because I have to be productive, but I'm not going to be productive because I'm tired and I don't feel good. And then I just do nothing. I just zone out, or I just stare at the television and I can't seem to turn it off. And I just, not that I'm not aware of the time, I was totally aware of what time it was, and I'm pretty sure it was around midnight when I turned the TV off and crawled into bed and fell asleep. But but I know that God knows that it's hard for me, and He knows that I have bad days like that. And I know that the only way that I even made it to work was because God helped me to get there. And I know that He will forgive me for not going to the temple and cleaning like I was supposed to. And I know that He's trying to help me to learn to take better care of myself, and that I do have choices, and He's not going to take away my choices. And that I also have this ADHD where my brain doesn't always, or my body doesn't always respond to my thoughts somehow. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of a disconnect in there, and I think that has to do with the ADHD, where it's like I have all of these brilliant ideas and things that I'm supposed to do that aren't supposed to be that hard, and yet somehow the motivation, the follow through, the whatever, it just isn't there. And I can rely on the medication all I want, but sometimes it's like, okay, I just can't stop. Or sometimes it's just like, okay, now I can only focus on one thing, but I still just can't stop because the medication's still like a train it's a fast moving train. And it's like, all right, you finish one project, go to the next project. But I'm still just hyper focused on one thing. Like, it enhances my hyper focus on something. And I'm like, great, I can hyper focus. I can remember what I'm doing, but it doesn't make it any easier to stop what I'm doing. It seemed to, but I think it also has to build up in my system for a while to do that. But I don't know. I don't think I've taken it long enough to really know how much it helps or doesn't help, or what the best way to take it is. And I'm not even sure if I've even found the right medication for me in my situation. So that's what I get for thinking that I could just take some extra medication and I would be fine, because it didn't help me at all. And it might have helped me at work just a little bit to stay better focused, which I'm grateful for, and I needed to. But then I just felt even more moody and ornery because I just didn't feel good, and then I didn't end up doing any of the stuff that I wanted to. So it just made my day feel worse. So I can't blame it all on the medication. It is my habits. It is me. That's always been I don't take care of myself, and when I'm tired and don't feel good, I just don't want to do anything. And I also have that part of me that just wants to get everything done. And so my brain just spins around with all the things I'm supposed to be doing, and then I avoid everything and because I don't feel like doing any of those things, instead of giving myself permission to not do them, I just stay up until I'm so tired I can't sleep, or until I can't stay awake any longer. And then I will fall asleep. And then I'm just annoyed and frustrated with myself. So I do want to say that I woke up on Saturday, and I woke up earlier than I normally do. Well, I woke up around 9 or something. I got out of bed at like 9 or 9:30. So I got a good night's sleep, which was fantastic, and I felt so much better. And I'm so grateful to God for that too, because instead of waking up and feeling like I was carrying over the guilt and the frustration and the not feeling good from the day before and all the things I didn't do, which is normally what happens to me, I woke up and I was like, I can do this, and I'm ready for a new day, and I'm going to make today better than yesterday, and it's going to be fine. And I did that, and I just thought that was so interesting to me that God was aware that I wasn't feeling good on Friday, and he didn't like punish me or anything, and that even though I didn't follow through on what I wanted to do, it didn't carry over to the next day. I didn't wake up and refuse to get out of bed and just feel guilty about the night before. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start over today. And that to me is just amazing, and it's just more of God being in my life and being aware of me. And it doesn't take away what I did Friday, not taking care of myself, but it just made me feel like God still loves me and that he's aware of me and that it's okay. I'm a little bit crazy and I don't always make the best choices, and it is hard for me to take care of me. I wasn't taught how to do that growing up. I didn't know I had ADHD growing up. I wasn't given tools to deal with any of this stuff. I've had to figure it out on my own up to this point. And now at least I have like an explanation for why I do what I do. And somehow having an explanation, just knowing that, okay, it might be because I have ADHD and these are some of the reasons I struggle with this. And it's like, oh, I don't hate myself as much because now I know that. And I don't have to beat myself up as much because now I know that. But it also reminds me that I do need God in my life, and I can't just shut him out and be like, okay, God, this is what I'm going to do today, and you're just going to help me do it, or it's just not going to get done. Or I'm just like, okay, I don't want to listen to what you have to say today because I know what I'm doing. Or, I'm just going to take medication and I'm just going to rely on myself and my pills, and that didn't work for me. So I need God in my life every day, and I'm grateful for the little reminders that I do. And not that God wasn't in my life for the day, because I know that he was, but I still have days where I don't feel good and I just don't function the way that I would like to. And then I just struggle to recognize God's hand in my life, and I struggle to see the gratitude and to be positive in my life. And I know I'm always going to have days like that. So I wanted to just kind of skip my day in making my videos, and I thought that's not right. I need to share that I didn't have the best day, but God was still there anyway, and I'm just grateful to know that. So that's what I have for today. If you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and find ways to recognize God's hand in your life too.